few weeks ago, it seemed that the Dominion was isolated with no allies, but this month, the Dominion makes a powerful friend. Greetings, loyal members. This is the Dominion War. Now, last month, peace negotiations with the Federation fell through completely, and hostilities resumed, with raids beginning to take place along the new border. Now this month, that raiding campaign escalates, with ships now disappearing daily along the border, and more than that, new raiding fleets are beginning to deploy along the northern edge of Federation space. They are moving up from the Ogaius sector into a newly established supply base, DS-925. They then move through Breen space, which is neutral, into system B39437, otherwise known or simply as Blender. Now from here, they are going to deploy into these small raiding cells that will be dispersed all throughout the sector, from which they will then use to strike the Federation. It will be very difficult for the large Federation fleets to really respond effectively, with the Dominion fleets really just spread out across an area. And granted, they can't really defend, but their objective is not to hold territory. Their objective is to be able to attack, and they'll be able to do that very effectively over the coming months. But in reality, this is actually just a large deception to cover for an even larger operation occurring elsewhere. This is Operation Pathfinder, with effectively a new Dominion fleet group being created to support this. This is Dominion Fleet Group Delta, and it is moving down from Cardassian space into open space, with its first base being established at system BT-3376. They will also then this month establish another base known as FAO. This is their primary linchpin for what is going to be their slow, steady advance into the Calandra sector, completely outflanking the Federation fleets. And this month they are joined by 3 more fleets coming from the Menorah, the restored Taurus shipyards, and the Tavak shipyards. And this will be the primary focus of the next Dominion invasion, but that's still some time away. The real big news this month is diplomatic news. The Dominion managed to strike an important deal with the Sona. With their connection to the Gamma Quadrant completely severed, the Dominion need an alternate source of Ketracel White. They attempted to obtain that diplomatically last month, trying to get a planet that would have the necessary elements for them to create the White, but the Federation realized what they were doing and denied them. So they had to take this route through the Sona. The Sona are one of the largest pharmaceutical producers in the entire quadrant. They managed to strike a deal with the Dominion to begin manufacturing Ketracel White. Now you might think that this ends Sona neutrality. The Sona have been neutral so far in the war. But in fact it doesn't, because Ketracel White is medical supplies, and under the Articles of Interstellar Law, it is perfectly acceptable to trade medical supplies during wartime and maintain one's neutrality. So the Sona are actually still maintaining neutrality, even though they've cut a deal with the Dominion. And in return, they will get, well, ostensibly they just get Dominion war bonds, but in reality they get something a little bit more concrete. They get subspace weapons. The Dominion can't use them, lest they tarnish their reputation, but the Sona are completely free to use them, so as a means of ensuring their neutrality. So the Sona will be able to maintain their neutrality both by legal methods and, if it comes down to it, by force of arms. No one really, even if they wanted to stop the Sona, they don't even have the resources. They wouldn't have the resources to do so. The Sona aren't a large power, but they are advanced enough that they would not be easily intimidated by the Federation. So that's really where we stand at the end of the month. The Dominion making a new friend, but long term, there's a lot of potential complications that will arise from this. While these colossal powers fight it out, the rest of the Alpha Quadrant is still very much keeping busy and very much taking an interest in this. And the potential impacts of this continued slugfest between these massive powers is likely to leave a vacuum that these smaller powers will look to exploit. And it will long term perhaps lead to even more anarchy and chaos and struggles. So even when this war ends, it's hardly going to be a return to peace. The victor, whoever that might be, is still going to have a lot of cleaning up to do. But I guess they're okay with that. If that means victory, I guess they're okay with many millions more losing their lives if it means that they can claim victory. Thank you guys for your support, and I will see you in the next one.